Hi, I'm Rebecca and welcome to episode 38 of the Creabea Knitting podcast. Hello and welcome. This is a podcast or a vlog all about knitting, what I'm currently knitting on, what I've been knitting on, and what I would like to be casting on in the not too distant future. And there's usually some yarny goodness at the end, and I think my pile of acquisitions is higher than my pile of knitting. So we definitely have some acquisitions today. It's been a few weeks since I last recorded, I think like 3 weeks, so I've got a lot to talk about. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to come and give some updates. I have got 3 finished objects, which feels like a lot, but it's also like summer top season, so no one's getting stuck on Sleeve Island around here, so that's going pretty quickly. I have 4 works in progress, and then just 4 sets of acquisitions. maybe more. We'll deal with that at the end. And then at the very end of the episode, I will do a little personal update and just let you know how life has been, because that's always nice to do if you're interested in the knitter and not just the knitting. So let me start with the most exciting news. My first finished object and what I'm wearing is my Tolsta t-shirt fingering weight, which is now available. So let me talk about this. The Tolsta t-shirt is a pattern that I designed and released early June? May. It came out in May. And it is like a super basic, simple, easy, classic, all those words, raglan t-shirt that you can customize really easily. So you can add stripes and eyelets and lace and like cool textural features and cool construction things. Like, the world is your oyster. And almost as soon as I released it, even before I released it, I had some people asking for a fingering weight version. And so I worked with my incredible tech editor and grader, and she redid the pattern for me. I've knit a sample and now it's available. So it's in the same pattern as the Tolsta. So if you've already purchased the Tolsta from Ravelry, you should be getting an email. I think I should have sent it out by now. You'll get an email that says like there's a pattern update available, and there'll just be a second file in that. Like, you can download the pattern, you can download the modifications, you'll also download the 4-ply version. If you're on Etsy, as yet I've not found a better way to do it. I think you're just gonna have to contact me and email me and say, hi, this is my order number, and I'll send you a PDF copy. There's not, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be a way of sending out an update, which is a bit annoying. But it'll be on there for anyone who's not purchased it yet and wants to purchase from Ravelry or Etsy. Like, both of the files will be available, but anyone who's already purchased, you'll have to drop me an email. Apologies about that. Ravelry, obviously, because it's a knitting pattern website, makes it much easier to send updates than Etsy does. So yeah, it's a free addition to the pattern. It's not been tech edited. It's not been test knit. It has been tech edited. The pattern, I'm pretty confident in it, in that the pattern, the first wave, like the DK weight was test knit by a lot of knitters, and there was not a single problem found. And so the fingering weight version has been like plugged into exactly the same pattern, so all the wording is the same, and it's a pretty simple pattern. So I'm pretty confident that there's no issues with that. And I have knit my sample in, it's also similar to the DK weight, isn't it, like 17 stitch gauge? This one is knit at, I think, a 23 stitch gauge, so like still quite loose and airy for a fingering weight. So like, I guess it's like sometimes fingering weight can be as tight as like 28 stitches for socks, or like even for sweaters. So 23 stitches for fingering still gives the same like loose drapey feel, but not transparent, that the DK weight version has. My version is knit up in Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, and disclaimer, I made mine a little bit too short. So I'm not going to stand up, but I will just show you what it looks like. I follow the pattern completely, so I didn't make any modifications to this version. I think I'm going to have to take the ribbing off and add like 5 centimeters, because it's just a little bit, I mean, it's a crop top, and it's like, if I'm wearing high-waisted jeans or like a skirt, it's fine. I might like flash a little bit of skin, but I can get away with that. I think there's no reason that's an issue, but it does just mean that like, I feel like I'm like pulling my jeans up and like wriggling it down a bit. So I think for my own personal comfort, I will add an extra 5 centimeters. The other slight frustrating thing, which I don't, oh yeah, you can tell on camera, is that I used 2 different dye lots and didn't realise. So there's a line right across just before the sleeve, or just after the sleeve split, I think. I do not think a single person who is not a knitter would even really notice, and I didn't notice the whole time I was knitting it. I only noticed once it was on the blocking mats yesterday, and I was like, oh, you're kidding me. So it's a bit annoying. But it is a pretty quick knit. It's only, for the size I knit in, I think it was like 670 meters. So that's really not very much for fingering weight. And I think I'll make another one, even though I tell myself I hate knitting fingering weight things. I think I will make one more. I've got some yarn for it though. I'll get to that at the end. So this is the Tolsta t-shirt fingering weight. It is, yeah, go get the update if you already have the pattern. If you don't have the pattern's available on Etsy and on Ravelry and is linked down below. And yeah, just adding a bit more versatility to this pattern, which is already a pretty versatile pattern. So that's quite nice. Moving on to my second finished object, which is in a similar vein. Let me do a quick change. I always worry when I do this that I'm not going to edit out the bit in the middle where I'm changing and accidentally put videos of me in my underwear on the internet. So far it's not happened. Touch wood, I don't do this in the future. So this was a really, really fun, very quickly whipped up project, which I think is the very first sample of what will likely be a pattern for next year. So I'm sorry, I know that's really boring because it's like literally not gonna come out for 12 months. I think next year there will be a Tolsta tank. I just love the versatility and like super basicness of the gauge and like the multiple option situation. And so this was like my first idea and I'm in the middle of making some more and I completely love it. I'm not gonna stand up because I can't be bothered. I will put a picture here of what this looks like. I've got a picture of me like a bit further away. I can put it in. It is the exact same stitch count and the exact same gauge as my Tolsta, but like I've obviously worked the top differently. So like the stitch count for the body is the same and the stitch count up here is different, and it was me completely winging it. And honestly, I love it. It's quite a modest neckline, and I'm not too fussed. I'm not very busty, and so I think I can get away with like deeper V camis like without it feeling like I mean, I think anyone can wear what they want, but I feel like because I don't have really anything to display, it never looks very revealing when I've got a deep V. But I do just love that I've got a few sewn tops in this style and I wear them a lot, and so I like that I've got the knitted version. It's completely reversible, so the back is exactly the same as the front. And yeah, it's got these stripes and then it's got the ribbing all in, this is ribbing and this is also ribbing, in one of the 2 colours. I've kept the ribbing fairly narrow, which means that like I'm wearing probably like a bra with slightly thicker straps today, and it just covers my bra straps, but it would be really, really easy just to knit a few more rows here before my binding off if you wanted thicker, properly thick straps. And I love it. It goes right, it's got quite good underarm coverage. And yeah, it is, like I said, my first foray? I was gonna say forage, and that's definitely not the right word. My first little like wiggling my toes in the water for a pattern for next year. It's been really nice. I haven't had any test calls or releases since the Tolsta, and the next pattern won't come until September, and it'll probably be I think it's the beginning of July that the next test call's coming. So I've basically had like most of May and June to just knit what I like knitting, and it's been really nice to not have any deadlines. And that's felt really good about this. So I just cast it on, had fun. I was like, let's see if it works, let's see if it doesn't work. And this one most definitely works. I have already ordered yarn for more, unsurprisingly. I've got another one on my needles right now. I ordered some pure cotton from Purl Soho, which I think is going to be exactly this style. So with the high neck and the shoulder straps, which I'm very excited for. And I also, I think, ordered like a lime green colour from them, which might be a camisole version. So that's the concept. The concept is like the body, so like everything around here under the bust fits the same, but they all have a different, you can like plug and play with the top half. So there'll be this style with the high, There's going to be one with like a tank top almost, you know, where it kind of like comes high at the neck and you've got ribbing here and then sleeves like a tank. And there's going to be a camisole, both with a camisole with thick straps and a camisole with I-cord straps. And the goal is that, like, again, similar to Tolsta, it is your canvas to do whatever you want for your summer patterns. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I shouldn't commit to anything that's happening more than 3 months away because I change my mind all the time. But that is what I'm currently thinking, and I'm just having a lot of fun. Like, worst case, I'm knitting myself some fun things to wear right now. Best case, it turns into a pattern next year. And I quite like it because the Tolsta t-shirt, the very first one, I knit it last summer and then wore it all summer and then turned it into a pattern this year. So it's also quite nice to be able to wear a pattern, especially something that you're branding, like, especially when it's meant to be this like not one size fits all, but like this one pattern for all your needs. Super versatile, super easy to wear. It's nice to have a whole year's worth of wearing it between first knitting it and launching it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I really like it. It has been hot enough to wear this, but I will say, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but I feel a bit weird getting my shoulders out sometimes. And I'm definitely in that mood at the moment. So it's been worn a lot indoors and like outside with a shirt over it. I think I just need to get over. I think it's because, I can tell you why. It is because I get tan. I mean, not very tan, but I get like more of a tan up to here. I have like a t-shirt tan. And so I just see like I have very white shoulders. But of course, if I continue to not wear tank tops outside, I'm never going to get non-white shoulders. So it is a self-perpetuating problem. But yes, I have more planned. I've got one of the needles. I know what I'm casting on after this one. And we're just going to keep, in the same way that I have like 6 Tolstas and 3 more coming. It's kind of the same thing, like just keep going with them. Yeah. So that's, oh, it's knit up in dropped cotton merino, which is actually lovely. I bought this with the intention of making Tolstas. Actually, it's not true. I bought it with the intention of making a different pattern, like a design idea, which I think I can still plug into this, but I just can't be bothered doing it at the time. I was like, oh, it's too fussy. But I don't think it's, I think what will help is that I couldn't be bothered to try and work out how it works with this, with like the shaping. So I couldn't be bothered working out a stitch pattern on the shaping. I've now worked out the shaping, so I think I'm quite comfortable just plugging that stitch pattern in. And I might try it sometime soon. So it's like the navy colour and like the jeans blue maybe, and they're just like double row stripes. And I just carry the yarn up the inside, so I don't have to weave in all the ends. Cool. Okay, I have one final finished object, so we're going to do a magic quick change again. Hey! So this was actually a little bit worse for wear, in that I've been wearing it non-stop since I finished it. It's like my 3rd day wearing it. This is this is also a Tolsta t-shirt. I promise I will, oh, that's not true. I kind of have one more Tolsta thing to talk about, but generally this is my last piece of Tolsta paraphernalia, merchandise, for the time being. So this is my most recent Tolsta. I cast it on I was working on it the day the pattern released actually, and I adore this version. It was very much inspired by the test knitters. So it has got like this row of garter and then ridged eyelets. I've seen this being recreated by a lot of people knitting it right now. And I also did a picot edging on the neck and on the sleeves, and the body is just regular ribbing because I was over it and didn't want to do any more picot edging. This is knit up in Woolyknit, which was like the official yarn that I used for the pattern. And I realised as I sat down to film today that I have not pulled the winners for the Woolyknit Summer Cone Along. I actually think the Cone Along itself is running for a bit longer. I need to check my emails. I am not on top of things. They emailed me this week. I will do that this afternoon. There was a discount code on this. It ran out last Friday, which is the 9th. But the Summer Cone Along, I believe, is still taking place. I will put a date here if I can tell you when it's running until. But ultimately, if you're using a Woolyknit cone, you can post for any pattern, not just mine. You can put it on Instagram with the hashtag Summer Cone Along, and there are 3 prizes, like a £75 and 2 £25 gift vouchers for Woolyknit, which is pretty great. So that is still running, I believe. I should be more organised, I should have looked this up, and I did not. But yeah, you can find that there. And if you did purchase a cone, I hope you're enjoying knitting with it. I think some people messaged me recently saying they were still waiting for theirs, or theirs are just arriving, which is nice. I still have quite a lot of this yarn. I've got some in white, some in blue, actually some in orange. Don't know if the orange is for me, we will see. And I think it would be fun to knit up one of my tank versions in this yarn, since it worked so well for the t-shirt. So yeah, I've been wearing this a lot. I like this green colour, I think it suits me. My eyes are kind of like greeny brown, so I think that this is like a nice colour to wear. I've been wearing it a lot with just like jeans. And I started a new job on Monday, and it's been quite nice to sit and like, I feel like I'm very put together if I'm on Zoom calls. I can be wearing like joggers or pyjamas and then this on the top, and I think it looks very put together. So that is all for my finished objects. 2 Tolsta tees and a Tolsta tank. Say that 10 times quickly. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 works in progress. So let me take a side step away from the Tolsta for a minute. Just because maybe I'm boring everyone, and talk about like my current complete joyful project, which is kind of like a very early sample of what is going to become an actual pattern, but right now it's very much still the sample stage. This is what I think is going to be called the Leith or the Leither, maybe Leither cardigan. And it is like my ice cream sundae pure joy cardigan. And I have not taken any like works in progress pictures of this. I've shared it like a couple of times on pictures on Instagram, and I feel really bad because it looks so good and I want to share it, but it's such a nightmare to photograph because it feels like it kind of just hangs there in a stripy mess. So this is a drop shoulder cardigan, and it is knit up in these stripes, and the fun part about it is that it is in tarja, so the stripes don't add up, like don't meet at the back. And then I've done a stripy sleeve, and I brought the yarn, oh it's here. I've got the second sleeve to do now, and it's going to be this colour, this like sort of sagey green. It's going to be my final colour to add into the mix. And it's going to be so fun. I'm really excited. I will say I ordered like 4 different yarns to be my 4th colour, and I'm still not 100% set on this one, but we're going to get going and see what I think. I used Cascade 220. The final sample is not going to be in Cascade 220, it's going to be in a slightly thinner yarn. So this one might just be like a prototype before I do the actual samples, but this is going to be my September pattern. I feel like I've not really won people over, like people are not seeing this and being like, I desperately want one, which is fine. Not every pattern has to be that way, it can just be the things I like to knit. I think it's the bright colours though, so my second sample, or my first sample depending how the gauge goes, will be in more neutral colours, and it's going to be just 2 colours, and there's going to be an added twist which I will probably share next time because I think I will have cast it on by then. Yeah, just look how the body has been blocked and the sleeves have not, and the sleeves, none of the ends have been woven in, so it's a bit scruffy, but like just look how fun that is, like it's so fun. So I think I'm going to do the neckband. And somebody messaged me on Instagram and they said exactly what I've been thinking, which is like white jeans and a white like camisole or a t-shirt, and then this, or even like blue jeans. I think it would look so cool. I'm excited. I want this in my wardrobe. That's how I feel about it. And this is really fun. It's a really fun way to like dabble in intarsia without like overloading yourself on intarsia. And the shoulders are seamed and they're also pretty neat, which I'm like a seamless shoulder, which is nice. So this version, I think I said, is in Cascade 220, but the final one will not be. So more to come on this. Like I say, it will be the September pattern, my first pattern of like the winter time, and I'm really like looking forward to the next version. I think the next version is gonna, I think like this one was purely my wacky imagination, like wanting to be dressed up like an ice cream sundae. I think when you see the second version and like slightly more neutral colours, it's gonna be a bit more appealing to more tastes, but I think it's cool that you could do it in 2 colours or you could do it in 5 colours, and I'm going to have both. So that's very exciting. So this is my second one. Sorry, this is my first, what am I saying second for? It's my first work in progress. I think the next thing to do is going to be doing the neckband, and the reason that I'm putting that off is that I'm going to do a double knit neckband. I think that it's going to make it look a lot more clean, which I think that when you're wearing 5 colours together, like that detailing of like really slick detail, like a really clean neckband is going to take it from like funfair to like classy and cool, is what I'm thinking. So yeah, that is next. And I'll finish that before I cast on my second sample, just to make sure that like right now it's sitting a little bit wider on my neck than I want it to. I will do the button band, we'll see if I enjoy it or if I need to on my next sample improve the way it's fitting on the shoulders. So yeah, that is my uber fun striped cardigan. And it's going to be called either Leith or Leither, just because I cast this on at the same time as it was bringing me pure joy, at the same time that I realised that the part of Edinburgh that I live in, which is Leith, is just somewhere that I love and it makes me really joyful and really happy and feel very much like myself, and that's what this cardigan means too. I know that Isolde Teague, who is a very prolific Scottish, I don't think she's Scottish, but I think she lives here, she could be Scottish, I think she is from North America, but I am literally just basing that on that information being in my head somewhere. I don't know. She's of course the designer behind the very, very famous Muscle Bear hat. She also has a Leith hat, but I think it's okay. I think living in Leith, I'm also allowed to use the term Leith. So it'll either be the Leith cardigan or it'll be the Leither, which is somebody from Leith or somebody who lives in Leith. TBD. Cool, that's my first whip. My second whip, okay, let's talk about this one next. This is in this bag that I was gifted by Apollonie, who just had a sale, I think, for their 4-year anniversary. And they brought new bags out. I got a lot of messages about this bag when I first showed it. They brought new ones out. Cool, so in here I have my other work in progress. This is my second sample of the tank top, or like the Tolsta tank. And this one is, oh, I'm literally in the middle of a row. Why do I do this to myself? Okay, I'm going to chat while I finish the row. Am I? Yeah, I am. No, I'm not, because that's going to keep forever. So I'm using Drops Belle, which I used for one of my Tolsta samples. Again, I'm using the same yarn that I got gauge with on the first t-shirt, because it's all exactly the same gauge. And this one is, instead of it going, it's going to have like straps, I don't know what you call that, like would you call that a tank? I think I'd call that a tank, where like it has a neckband and cuffs around here. It's gonna look more like a vest tank top. So I have never knit this before. I'm completely making it up as I go, which fine, all credit to me. Like, let's see, it's a good way to do it, and it's a nice pattern to experiment with, because I cast this on 3 days ago. It flies off the needles. So because it's such a loose gauge, you don't need to worry too much about, like, if you have to rip back, you have to rip back. You're ripping back like 2 hours of work rather than ripping out like 2 weeks of work, which is quite nice. Okay, there we go. So it's going to be hard to show because it's knit bottom up. I will hold it upside down. This is what we have so far. Looking like kind of fun halter neck. So this is the back. You can see I've kind of got a back neck, and then I'm working on the front. And it splits under the arm, and then I work front and back separately. I think I'm going to seam the shoulders, and then we're going to have some fun ribbing detail on the arms and the neckband. I feel like it looks big, but I thought this about the blue one until I finished it, and then it fit perfectly. So I'm just not worrying too much about it. We're going to keep going. I finished that back just yesterday. That's a fun little... Ooh. And then the next version will be to try a camisole version, which I think I'll do in that green as and when it arrives. And yeah, sorry, it's really awful to show, to be fair. But next time I will hopefully have, either I'll tell you, look at this amazing thing I finished, it's really cool, I'm wearing it all the time, or remember that thing I showed you, I was all wrong, I ripped it out, I'm working on it again. The good thing is that because it's knit bottom up, all the bits I have to think about are up here area. So I can just knit and keep going and then like worry about that when I get there. Is at least my concept. Okay. Drinks break. It's hot in Scotland for Scotland. It is 23 degrees today, which a lot of you, I think that's like the 60s Fahrenheit. Which is lovely. Like it's a nice temperature, but it's hot for Scotland. Okay, I have something really fun. Really fun. I think we may have all heard about the, what is it called? Hot Granny Square Cal? Which is I think being run by the Grocery Girls, where you make something out of granny squares and you crochet them. And I saw an amazing crochet tank top, which I think is a very, very popular thing, but I saw it on Reshma, I'm sure her name is Reshma, but you know when there's a word you've been saying in your head and you've not said it out loud and you don't know if that's how you pronounce it? From Hello Lavender, I think her name is Reshma. She made a really, really cool crocheted tank top. It's like a boxy tank top with these straps. It looked so cool. And so I decided to make one too. So I've been making these these granny squares, and I've not touched them in a week or so, but I've made quite a few. I'm using also the Drops Cotton Merino. I bought a handful of colours of these. Oh yeah, I picked, and I'm using 4 designs. So like one single design, but 4 different colour themes. So this is the first 2, which is like green and blue. And then I have these 2. I could have done more variants than this, but I decided to keep these 4 variants as my main ones. Yay! And then I'm doing white around the outside. And my plan is to do enough for the body. I think I need to do... Oh, I can't remember how many to do. These are like 6 centimetres each across. I thought I had to make 14, but that's definitely not right. I don't know, I've worked out somewhere basically how many I had to make to go like round my bust. And then I might do some like, I don't know what I'm doing with crochet honestly. I watch videos and then just copy what they do in the videos, but I cannot read a pattern. So I might do some form of like decorative edging around the top. And then originally I was going to do these squares as straps, but I think I'm just going to do like a regular crochet, like I know what that means. I'll do something else probably for the straps. I think it's the sort of thing that there are lots of tutorials out there for. So I'll keep going. I'm using a size 4 hook, and then I'm blocking them out to be the same size on my blocking mat, and I'm just doing like, a lot of the ones I saw were much bigger, so I'm doing much smaller squares with just 3 colours. That's about as details as I can get with crochet, because I don't really understand many crochet terms. But yeah, it reminded me that I've not worked on them in a while, so I think I might get them out again today and do a couple more over the weekend, because I think it would again look so cool with jeans. And even if I was to wear, like I think I could wear like a t-shirt underneath and like layer over a t-shirt if it wasn't like super bright outside. If it wasn't super nice weather, I could wear a t-shirt and then wear my cute little granny square top over it. It's in my Willoughby bag. Oh, I dropped one. Okay, one more work in progress. And this is a fun little one. Fun little thing. So I mentioned last time that we had some hiking trips planned. I'll put some pictures at the end because they have been amazing. And I've got some really cool pictures. But I needed a project to take camping. We were hiking and camping, so walking like between 50 and 60 kilometres over 2 days, and then like camping, so getting there, walking, camping, waking up, walking, leaving. And in Scotland you can do wild camping, which is that you don't have to get a permit or anywhere. You can just, in most of the country, you could pitch a tent anywhere, which is really cool. We've got really amazing access laws. So I've been doing some wild camping, and yeah, it's been really fun. When we moved to Scotland, we said we'd do more of it, and we then didn't do any. So it's nice to get back out again. But I wanted to take a project with me, and obviously had to like not weigh very much, not require any thought at all. And everyone told me to take socks, and probably should have taken socks, but I didn't because I don't really like knitting socks. It's now, after 2 projects, I think gotten to the stage where it's going to be too big for me taking any more, which is fine. So I think this will become my work knitting. because I've started Zoom calls again at work, and I've done, like, it's been very, very mindless, and I've enjoyed it. So this is the very start of a half and half triangles wrap by Purl Soho. I'm very late onto the bandwagon with this one. Everyone was making them for a while. I've always wanted to make one and just never done it, and this felt like a perfect time, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So this is what I have. It smells so good. This stuff always smells like pencil shavings, and it still smells like pencil shavings to me. So this is my like diagonal edge, and I am not using wrap and turns because I realised that the pattern asked for wrap and turn. Like, I screenshotted the pattern, I cast it on the train up. I've never done wrap and turns before, and I was worried I was going to get it wrong, so I've just done German short rows. And then I spoke to Amy Palco for the Meaningful Stitch, and she said all of her versions were with what's the word I'm looking for? German short rows. So I'm just copying what she's done. So I've done quite a good job. Like, we've made quite a lot of progress. It doesn't feel like I've knit on this at all. So there were a couple of very long train journeys, like a 4-hour and a 2-hour, so that's where the bulk of my knitting got done. Yeah. So the yarn is my favourite. It's Kinross 4-ply. I bought this yarn at Scottish Wool Producers Showcase, which was back in April, maybe? It is from Wee County, is it? Yeah, it's Wee County Yarns. I just rave about this whenever anyone talks about it. When I go to Perth, it's now called the Scottish Yarn Festival. I should remind myself. It's in Perth, but it's called the Scottish Festival Yarn, Scottish Yarn Festival. I've knit with this before. I knit a V-neck top, or V-neck sweater, which I do not wear, and gifted to my mum because I didn't like the V-neck on me. I have all my needles, just needing some sleeves, a sweater, and then I bought this much. And every time I go, their colours are so good. I just want all of them. And when I got back, I realised this would make a perfect half and half triangles wrap. The magic thing about this is it softens up like cashmere. It feels so soft, like unreasonably soft. And the reason I bought it in the first place is because I went to Beautiful Knitters in London and they had a sample knit up, and I was like, that is not the same yarn. And they were like, it is. And I was like, that cannot be the same yarn. It is so soft. And every time I've felt it since, I've been like, oh, and then I bought some more. So this colour is called Glen. It is this stunning rich green. It's a little bit heathered, and this is my second 50-gram ball, and you can see I'm maybe like halfway through it. I'm going inside out. I'm pulling from the inside, so it's hard to tell. And I need to make a decision about the second colour. My plan is that the Scottish Festival of Yarn is in September. I'm hoping that I've made a reasonable enough progress that I can buy I mean, I could always order it online at any point, but my plan is to pick my second colour when I go to Scottish Yarn Festival in September 8th and 9th is September. I've already had a nosy though, and I'm torn whether I should make my second colour grey. They've got a beautiful light grey, like a medium grey, and then they've also got an orange called Highland Cow. And I think my head says grey because it will go with more things, my heart says Highland Cow. Because imagine I have a wrap that is half coloured Glen and half coloured Highland Cow. That's perfection. It's meant to be. So we'll see when I see it in person. I'll need to see if it's like not too orangey and it's more like auburn, and make some decisions, but it will either have a second colour of grey or a second colour of orange. And it's in my very cute little dinky bag, which is from something called, was it Lysander and Olive? I can't remember, they're on Etsy, and they're, oh, I was going to say it's on the tag, it's not on the tag. Don't think they have tags. These were so inexpensive. And it's so dinky. It will outgrow this bag eventually because it's going to get bigger, but for now, 100 grams in, it's perfect. So those are all my projects. Very exciting. Where are we at? About 35 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a drinks break. I'm going to order my lunch so that it arrives when I finish. And then I'm going to jump into my acquisitions. Okay, apparently my lunch will take 25 to 45 minutes, so that is the time frame I have to try and get through my acquisitions. Okay, so let me start with by far the most exciting thing. I am a huge fan of the musical artist Noah Kahan. I think if you are from the same place that he is, which is anywhere in the US, you pronounce it Cahan, like Cahan, but my accent just doesn't do that justice, so I'm calling him Noah Kagan, even if he doesn't call himself that. So, sorry, let me pick this up first and then I will talk more. Oh no, it's stuck under my cable. Okay. So, I'm a huge fan, massive fan of Noah Kagan, and I posted on Instagram like 3 months ago, like, oh, I'm obsessed with this song, I can't stop listening to it, called Stick Season. And if you've not heard it, go listen to it. It's great. Like indie, folky, happy. I mean, it's actually not very happy lyrics, but it makes me feel happy. So I posted this, and then Ali from Explorer Knits and Fibres was like, oh my gosh, I am also obsessed with this entire album. Sorry, I got distracted. Today is the first day of the Ashes, which is cricket. If you are a cricket fan, you will know what I'm talking about. And I thought something was happening. My TV is on, but like the sound isn't on. And I thought something big happened, but it didn't happen. They were just doing a replay. Anyway, I'm a massive fan. So then Ali from, okay, so I don't know where I cut myself off, but I was listening to this song, I posted it on Instagram. I was like, I'm obsessed, I can't stop listening to this. And Ali from Explorer Knits messaged and was like, I'm also obsessed with this song, the whole album, it's amazing. And then like 3 days later, she messaged me back and was like, hi, are you ever, if you're ever interested in doing a collaboration around this song, like I would completely be down. And I was like, I had not thought about this, but then she like planted a seed in my head and then it just sprouted. And so a few days later I sent her like a design brief and said like, this is my thought process, this is what I'm thinking, how does this sound? And she was like, this sounds amazing, I'm sending you yarn. So decided to go for some of her, she sent me 2 sweater quantities. She said, I know you like to make 2 samples, I'd love to send you yarn for both, which I thought was amazing. And it just arrived. So I can't believe actually that like I have in my possession Explorer Knits and Fibres yarn. That just blows my mind. This was obviously like gifted as part of our collaboration. So she sent me the yarn as yarn support, which is quite common for designers. But I should be clear that I didn't pay for this. So it's in the Earthy DK, which is the non-superwash DK, and these are my 2 colours. So these are for 2 different samples. This colour is called Daybreak and this colour is called Linen. And oh my word, this is coming up maybe a little bit brighter just because it's so bright in here. It's like a real like rich reddy brown. It's coming up maybe a little bit more orangey, and that is pretty true to colour. Like this is like a stony. Oh, I'm just so obsessed. I think these are fantastic. I squealed when they arrived. They came also with a beautiful little card from Ali, which actually, I didn't even notice, it is from, oh, it's amazing. Hand painted, I realised it was hand painted, but I didn't realise it was also hand printed in the US from Des Moines, Iowa. This beautiful card. So yeah, I'm just so excited. So this is going to be the November pattern. It's going to be called the Stick Season sweater. If you know Stick Season, it's a song about the time of the year called Stick Season in Vermont, which is when all the leaves have fallen off the trees, but the snow hasn't started falling yet. And that always happens like around about November. So the pattern is going to come out during Stick Season, which is very fitting for the pattern. It's going to be like kind of menswear inspired, very textural. I am so excited. Like I've got it in my head, I know exactly what it's going to look like, and I can't wait. So I have got, this is so cheesy, the album. I just got my Stick Season album, like my vinyl. We've got a record player, and so my plan is on a very cosy evening, which has not yet arrived, I'm going to put the vinyl on. It was going to be this week, but this week's been busy, so probably this coming week. Put the vinyl on. I've got my Stick Season t-shirt, I'm going to wind up my yarn, and I'm going to do my swatching. So that's going to happen. I'm going to create all the vibes. So this has just been sitting waiting for me to wind it up, but I have to wind it up whilst listening to the song. Of course, like I have to. He's just released like an extended cut version of the first album with some more songs that I love. So yeah, I am just so excited for this. It just feels like a dream collaboration. It's so cool getting to work with designers that you, or like yarn companies that you really love and that you admire, and this is definitely one of them. Ali is coming to Scotland in September, so I guess I'll have a sample by then. The test knit will be well underway, so that's kind of exciting. And it will be, I have some slightly ridiculous plans. which is that whilst I'm fully aware that not all of New England is the same, the fact that I will be in, well, I'll be in upstate New York for Rhinebeck. I'm hoping to do some version of recreating the stick season sweater video in my stick season sweater at Rhinebeck. If you see me prancing around like an idiot, taking video footage, probably making Mega from Skeins of Dreams take my video footage, you will know why. This is why. It's because I have grand plans for content. So that is my first piece of yarn. I'm so excited. I am unbelievably excited about this. And I now, like, my patterns are pretty much planned for September, October, November, December. I know what's coming out in all those months. It feels very real and to get knitting, which is fine. I'm looking forward to that, but it does feel a bit nerve-wracking. I do have other yarn coming, which I purchased from a very cool designer, yarn dyer. It came in 2 parcels because of shipping customs charges, and so I only have one here so far, so I'm going to wait until they both arrive to show you them. So that'll be next episode. Okay, that's acquisition number 1. Let's check in. Where's my lunch? Okay, it's not on its way yet, it's still being prepped. And because it's my first full week at work, and because Sam is in the office and I'm at home today, I ordered myself lunch, which I don't really often do. I ordered myself a courgette and feta toasty. Sounds so good, I'm excited. Okay, my next thing is that I attended Tangled Gala Shields. Let me just collect this yarn. So, there are a handful of yarn festivals in Scotland. I know the big one used to be EYF, Edinburgh Yarn Festival. It has not run since I've been a knitter, so it's kind of gone, which is a real shame because I gather it was a real, like, it was a big deal. I would have loved to be part of that, but it just doesn't exist anymore, or it's on a hiatus. I don't know if they're ever coming back. So we now have a few others. The biggest is the Scottish Yarn Festival, which is called Perth. And then there's one in Glasgow. There's the Glasgow School of Yarn, which I've not been to before. I couldn't go last year, we were away somewhere, but I would like to go this year. And then there is, I think there are others like further north, but these are the big ones that are like ones that I could attend. There's one in Stirling, which Bannock Yarn, which had its first year last year. I don't know if they're going to do that again, but that was lovely. No, I don't know. I heard it was lovely. I didn't go. We stopped making things up. I didn't attend, but I heard it was really great. And then there's a new one called Tangled Gala Shields. Now, Gala Shields is in the Borders. It's south for me. So it's actually about, I think it's a pretty equidistant between like the north of England and the south of Scotland, which is quite nice because it meant that there were a variety of different, there were a lot of people there that I wouldn't normally see because they've come from the north of England. So like Whistlebear was there, which is really exciting. And there were definitely some new vendors, and it was really, really busy, and it was lovely. It was honestly really, really nice. They didn't open to vendors, they invited vendors to attend, like a small list of vendors, and it was, like I say, pretty small. But it was really nice because then there were only a couple of stalls doing each thing. So like there were maybe like 3 or 4 brightly coloured hand-dyed yarns, and then there were like 2 naturally dyed yarns, and then there were maybe like 1 or 2 luxury fibres, and I just loved that. I thought that was really, really great. So I had a wonderful time, and I made 2 purchases, and I kind of went with these in mind, but I kind of left with different ideas. If you watched the last episode, I think it was the last one, I'm working on an advent pattern. The goal is that the advent pattern will be a charity release this year. I did a charity release last year, and like the first window, so probably the first week of when the pattern runs, my goal is that it's going to come out like 3rd week of November. Then you'll have a week until Advent starts, and then if you're knitting Advent, you could, if you want to knit this pattern, you could purchase a pattern. All the sales in that time frame will go to a charity, and you get a fun Advent pattern. It's a cardigan, but I would also like to make a shawl. I'm not a huge shawl knitter, but I really like the stitch pattern, and I know a lot of people are shawl knitters, and so I thought it'd be fun to knit up a more neutral version, to show, like with a main colour and a couple of contrast colours, to sort of show that it's not just an advent pattern, but you could use it for other things. So I bought this yarn from Black Isle Yarns. They are in the very north of Scotland. It is in, I don't know what this is, Inverhouse. Don't know where Inverhouse is. But yes, grown in the Highlands and spun in the UK, and it's all naturally dyed, and I bought these 4 colours. There was a sweater sample there using these 4 colours, and I loved it so much that that was what inspired me. So the white is the main. I've got 2 of these, and then my goal is to use each of these as like contrast instead of a mini skein colour to show what the shawl could look like. It's DK weight. It's 220 meters per 100 grams, so like there will be a DK weight and a... I'm not knitting a fingering weight shawl because I will not enjoy it. I mean, I've got my half and half, which is fingering weight, but that's different, doesn't count. So I'm going to knit a DK weight version, but I'll probably make sure the pattern has options for both, and I'll make sure both are tested. So this one is undyed. This one is dyed with, oh, this is undyed silver. This is also undyed. This one is, unsurprisingly, dyed with indigo. And then this one is dyed with, it's called Harvest Gold. And it is dyed with walnut, rhubarb, and I think it's fustic. It could be fustic. F-U-S-T-I-C. So really lovely. This is like rustic but soft, like next to skin soft. Softer than Holst, softer than Woolyknit. Honestly, not massively different to like Cascade 220. Maybe like 1 point more rustic than that. But yes, I'm excited. I've not even thought about casting this on. Like I say, it is 23 degrees outside and sunny. The idea of knitting a woolly shawl is not very high on my list, but I've got the goods. And then I have this little bag of goodies. This is from Cooks and Crafts. They had these cute little hand-dyed bags that were only like £5, and I just thought they were so cute. And I got 2 mini skein sets, which I intend to turn into a Tolsta t-shirt, probably with a white background colour. And I will just pull out like all the colours of one of the sets to show you. I got the train home afterwards with my knitting group, and the lovely Raya had forgot her knitting, so on the way down she knit on my fingering weight Tolsta sample because I brought multiple projects. So the way down she knit on that, and the way back she wound my yarn for me, so I lucked out. They are proper highlighter colours. These are the 5 colours. I just think it's going to be pure joy and fun and chaos. So I've got, these are DK weight, I've got 2 of each. I think I'll use Drops Cotton Merino in white as the base, and I have to decide thick stripes, thin stripes. I'm not even considering it. But that might get cast on kind of soon actually. Maybe once I finish my Tolsta camisole version, I will knit this up because it's going to be really fun. Okay, 2 more things to show and then I'm done. Where's lunch? Lunch is... oh, it's still not on its way, so I still have time. Okay. This is a bad way to show this yarn because it's come very loose, but let me see if I can retwist it. So, I have mentioned before that my local yarn shop is Ginger Twist. They are about a 20-minute walk from my house. And yeah, it feels like my local. It's the one that I go to by far the most often, and like the one that it's quite close to my favourite coffee shop, so if I'm going to my coffee shop I will just pop in and inevitably leave with things that I didn't mean to buy. So they have had their 10-year, it was on Sunday, their 10, I don't know if it was actually Sunday, I think it was their 10th birthday. They've been operating for 10 years and they had a whole host of things to celebrate that 10 years. They had new project bags, they launched a new yarn base, they had a new colour, they had a new pin, and the colour and the pin is what I left with. So this is the colour. It is so bright. It's really scruffy because I unravelled half of it, so apologies for that. It is called Design of a Decade. It is fingering weight, 50% alpaca, 25% linen and 25% silk. And I've got 2 of these. So this will probably become a summer top. It might become a fingering weight Tolsta. It might become a fingering weight sample for one of my, maybe like the camisole in hot pink. That could be fun. It's got, like, you can see the drape on this because it just will not stand up. Like if I, this is the 100% wool and this is the, this is the baby alpaca. Like, this is 100% drape, yeah. And then I also got, it's already on my project bag, but I also got their little pin, which looks exactly like the front of the shop, and I love it so much because this is what I see so often. I popped by, they had like a little open day at a local hotel for their last Sunday, and I popped by and that was really nice. So I really enjoyed it. And then my last acquisition, another yarn shop which I love, is knit.co.uk. They had, again, I think their 1-year birthday maybe? 2-year birthday? They had a birthday as well last week. I order from them all the time. I've not ordered for a little while, but I usually do order often, and they had everything was discounted, and so I ordered two things. I ordered some 100% cotton from Santa's Garn, and this is Mandarin Petite, and it is the white colour, I believe, maybe off-white, but I think it's white. It just says 101, just says colour 1002. It is 100% cotton. It is 180 meters per 50 grams, so it's like a slightly thicker fingering weight, but like a fingering weight yarn, 360 meters per 100 grams. And I had this in mind to be a fingering weight Tolsta sample, but I have something else tickling my brain now. This might become instead. But there's not very high likelihood of that being cast on anytime soon. And then I also got some knitting for Olive pure silk in the colour black, which I think will almost certainly become a fingering weight Tolsta, because I feel like a black silk t-shirt is like, I would get so much wear out of that. I think I will save that for Cascade until our next hiking trip, because I think that would be perfect knitting for being away. I'd likely do like the ribbing and then just put it on the bigger needles and take it, and then I can do all the short rows and everything else on the train, and then whilst we're away hiking. I think that would be really good. It's again a 50-gram ball. So that's everything. I feel like I said, I feel it's a lot, but hopefully not too crazy amounts. A lot of yarn, coming into my life at the moment. Not a huge amount going out, but honestly, that's fine. That is a-okay. I am got such good knitting mojo right now. I want to be knitting all the things. It's kind of hard to pull myself out of my summer brain and into my autumn brain. But that has to happen. And I also have a pattern coming out in a magazine next March, ages away, but the sample is due in August, so I need to get knitting on that. It's not even cast on. The yarn has arrived and I've not even opened the box that the yarn came in, which is wild because it's really nice yarn. So I'll get cast on soon, and I'm just having a good time, enjoying my knitting, very low pressure. Yeah. What else has happened in the past few weeks? So I taught a class for Vogue Knitting Live, and it was really, really fun, and I got some really great feedback, so I'm feeling good about that. I did a dry run. The class is called How to Knit a Sweater, or How to Recreate a Sweater You Love. So the idea is like you've seen something on TV or in a shop, or you've owned this ready to wear sweater for 10 years and you want to be able to knit a version, and you want to break that pattern down and understand how to knit it. So I did a dry run with my knit group, and it did not go well. Like, it didn't go badly, but I wouldn't call it a screaming success. So I'm so glad I did that, because I rewrote the whole second section of the class, and it became significantly more technical, but great. I think so much more valuable. And I had some really good messages from people who took part, and I got the survey back from the people who took it, and the feedback was glowing. So that was really nice. I'm really pleased. Like I say, had a really good time. And I think I will, like, if I get offered to do a class again, I would definitely do it. I really enjoyed it, and it felt like a good fun way to use the skills that I've learned and teach people how to recreate their own sweaters. I started a new job on Monday. I am a senior product manager for a sustainability startup, which I am so excited about. It is so nice to be working in a field that I am passionate about, and that field is sustainability and reducing carbon emissions. So it's been good. It's been a whirlwind first week, but I feel good about it. I feel good about the responsibility, excited to improve the product, and seems so far like I have some nice colleagues, and that's really cool. So I've definitely been enjoying that. And then in terms of the big things have been, firstly, we've done 2 amazing trips. So I climbed my very first Munro. Munro is the term given to a hill which is, I believe, more than 950 metres in Scotland. Below that it's called a Corbett, and above that it's called a Munro. And Munro bagging is a thing, which is you bag a Munro by climbing it, and some people try to climb all of them. I think there are like 200 and something, and they're all over the country, and some of them honestly are stunning walks, some of them are grim. People are just climbing them for the sake of climbing them. But we've done 3 now. So our first trip we went to Blair Athol, and we did a walk. We did 2 Munros, and then we camped, and then we walked back down Glen Tilt. It's like an 18-kilometre walk out, and it was stunning. It was so beautiful. And then 2 weeks later we went on our second trip, which is we went a traverse. So we went from Dalwhinnie to Creabea, Cardigan is Scotland's most remote train station, and it is amazing. It's so beautiful. We'd seen it before on the train, like from the train from Fort William down, but it was the first time we caught the train from there and it was perfection. We learned a lot on both trips. The first trip I got too cold during the night, so I, you know, bit of replanning and wondering how to stay warm. I think I got dehydrated, to be honest. Managed that so much better on the second trip. I felt fantastic. It was Sam's birthday, so we got to celebrate his birthday. We had birthday breakfast at the top of Ben Alder, which is like 1,010 feet or something, 1,010 meters, and we were in this wind sheltered old ruin having our dehydrated breakfast. And I gave him his birthday present and it was just so nice. It was honestly perfect. We did a bit too much that day though. The plan originally was to sleep out for 2 nights, and then for some reason we decided to try and get back to the train station that night for the last train, which was at like 6:30, and we ended up doing 37 kilometers that day, and we did a Monroe in the morning and we were broken, like absolutely broken. So learning is that we need to get better at taking breaks. 37 kilometers in a day is probably too much. And yeah, it was amazing. So it was also really, really hot. So yeah, we're planning the next one, but the wild camping is so much fun. It's just amazing to go out and like just pitch your tent and stay out overnight. It's wild to me. I can't, it's crazy. But I've been really enjoying it. I'm excited for our next one. Our plan is to try and do like 2 trips a month all summer. We have no plans to go, I'm not going anywhere until Rhinebeck, which is in October. We've got no big trips away planned. And so like our summer is very like Scotland based, which should be nice. And I think that's all for news. I'll put some, I'll hopefully put some pictures in of our hiking whilst we've, some of the really good views we've had, which have been amazing. Yeah, that's about it. So, I'll be back in a few weeks, probably the week after next. We've got, Sam's mum is coming to stay with us for a week. She's over from New Zealand, so that's going to be really fun. We're going to get to do some fun Edinburgh things, but also just hang out with her. We've not seen her for a year, so that'll be really nice. And yeah, that's about it. In the meantime, plug it in at the new job, plug it in with go to the gym, enjoying the nice weather outside, and doing lots of knitting. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and I'll be watching a lot of cricket because the cricket's back. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope I haven't overwhelmed you with so much acquisitions that you are driven insane. And I will speak to you next time. And don't forget, if you want a copy of the Tolsta fingering weight, it should be available on Etsy and Ravelry now. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you soon.